What is going on, All Terrain Nation? Today is the day. I mean, I guess it's a day, but this is the Midsize Truck Show, and I'm still tentative on the name yet. I love my Bronco Talk Live, and I love adding the live to it. But this is for now the Midsize Truck Show, and I'm your host, David Boyd. And hopefully, you guys are having a good Saturday. Good start to it. First off, I know I've created a poll in the community thing here on YouTube, and I asked, hey, when is the ideal time for you guys to want to see a morning show like this? And I just happened to look at, because I forgot about the poll I put up, and I literally, it looks like I picked the worst time that y'all picked. So maybe we'll adapt to that. But let's bring this up because I found this very amusing. Go over to our YouTube channel there, and you will see the main channel. You will see this poll. It says Saturdays are for mid-sized truck talk, and we're looking for a time. So vote. So 11 a.m. Eastern is the looks like the worst time to do this. So anyways, I got to work around some we got softball coming up in my daughter's softball team, so I'm gonna have to work around this just a little bit. You guys know I'm a coach of my daughter's softball team, so we'll figure that out. But anyways, I thought I would bring that up and be kind of funny. But hopefully you guys once again are having a brilliant Saturday. It's the weekend. I know we don't really necessarily live in a Monday through Friday anymore. A lot of people work the weekends, but hopefully if you're at work, this is brightening up your day. So anyways, oh gee, you like this shirt? I've wore this shirt before on some of my shows. What's up, Steve P from Phoenix, Arizona, which I do love Phoenix, Arizona. Went to a Cracker Barrel out there, and it was the strangest thing that we were out there to go pick up a truck, a mid-sized truck, by the way. And we stopped at the Cracker Barrel. We were meeting somebody they weren't ready to meet just yet, so we thought we'd get some home cooked style meals. And well, they had those misters spraying on the outside. Now it was, I think, August when we were out there, so it was hot as piss. And but I do love your state, man. A lot of variety to that state. I love it. Let's see. We got Gia in the house. We've got Cole is in the house. We got Michael Cooper. Good morning, sir. Hopefully you guys join in on this. Smash the like button if you like to talk mid-size pickup trucks. Now, if you've watched any of my shows from time to time, I always lean into mid-size. Kelly loves big V8 power, and she likes a big full-size truck. For me, I like a smaller mid-size truck. I don't know, they're more agile, they're easier to maneuver in town, and honestly, I don't need to carry 24,000 pounds of anything at any one time. Now, if I did, there's opportunities for the big trucks, and we had our last one was a Nissan Titan, our last full-size truck, V8 power. Love that thing, great truck. But Kelly used to poke at me when I try to park the thing because I didn't drive it a lot. It was more of her daily vehicle, and I would go to, just the turning radius on that truck was pretty bad as well. But I would go to pull it in, and she just would not like how I pulled it in there, and she'd be like, "Do you want me to do this?" And if Kelly's in the comments, she will definitely speak up on that one, but she may be in here. Who knows? Thank you, Chris. I love the shirt too. I have a thing for silly shirts, and from time to time, I do like to wear silly shirts on the show that just make people go, "What the hell is this dude doing?" But anyways, we are going to talk some mid-sized trucks. But first off, we got to do the little business. I'm going to pop this up. This is our YouTube channel. Go over here, and if you haven't yet, where's it at? Well, I can't subscribe to my own channel, I guess, but you can smash the subscribe button there. Think about offering a subscription. As you can see, here's our recent videos. We've been talking a lot of mid-size trucks because the mid-size truck market is where it's at. You're about to see an explosion of these things. Gone are the days of Ford just offering a couple different trims. We've seen that with the current generation Ranger. They've slowly brought in the trimmer. You get their off-road packages. And but they didn't really give us much interior differences, really. And I think for Ford, they're about to ramp that up with the next generation. I also think that Chevrolet, the last Colorado, it just hung out a little too long. And I think part of that is that GM as a company, I've said this many times, they're in flux. Do they want to be just an EV company? Do they want to be a mid-size, or not mid-size, pickup trucks in general, where they make their money? And with Ford, let's be honest, the F-150 is the top-selling truck for a reason. Silverado is the second best-selling truck for a reason, and nobody sells cars anymore. So that's where these mid-sized trucks kick in. But I've been all over the map with these things. I had a 1989 Chevy S10. I'm dating myself just slightly, but I did have an S10, a little 4-cylinder that thing, a little 5-speed. It was my brother bought it brand new and moved on to something else. So my dad took it over, and I ended up buying it from my dad. That poor truck. I forget how many 200,000 miles on it by the time we got done with it. But being a typical 80s GM product, it leaked oil everywhere. It just leaked all kinds of stuff, and you know, but it was a fun truck. And back in the 80s, what did we want to do with little mid-sized trucks? You want to drop them, put huge subs in the back of them, and just have a lot of fun. Now, my brother, when he had that truck, rest in peace, man. My brother's the reason why I'm into cars, by the way. But Europe was big at the time. Well, I say big at the time. 89 hair metal was kind of starting to go out. But I remember him putting in the final countdown, and I have it. Where's it at? This is the cassette tape that we would rock out to. Well, this is a greatest hits, but it was my brother's cassette tape. And Europe, man, the final countdown. You would hear those big subs in that little mid-sized truck. And I, as a kid, man, because I wanted to be a musician as well. So it was so appealing to me. I thought I was in a rock concert in that little S10. But I remember his best friend at the time had a Dakota, like the little Ram Dakotas, and Dodge Ram Dakotas. And I remember thinking that the Dakota back then was like, ugh, that's not cool at all. And I think GM for the longest time had kind of had a big chunk of the mid-size market, taking out Toyota and Nissan because they were the top sellers for the little trucks for a long time. But I think for the United States market that people gravitated towards the S10 a little bit better. The Ranger for the 90s just never got to standards, in my opinions. They never did much with it, and even I will say, even Chevrolet for the longest time till they sort of did the what was it, like 96, somewhere in there, where they kind of rounded it up, still basically the same drivetrain, but they didn't do much with those. And then, they decided they didn't want to play in that playground anymore. And Nissan and Toyota just, okay, we'll continue to make these little mid-sized trucks. And after people started seeing the Tacoma sales numbers, they're like, holy hell, we got to get back into this thing. So anyways, I want to talk tonight. I want to talk a little bit about what I'm going to call super trucks. The Ranger and the ZR2, or the Ranger and the Ranger Raptor and the Chevy ZR2 Colorado. These trucks are getting to be sort of super trucks. And I know in the world of vets and Lamborghinis and stuff, you probably think I'm crazy, but we're getting into a point where performance in these little things. And anybody can make a decent four-wheel drive pickup anymore. Anybody, honestly, could make one tow 8,000 pounds, though I think they're all still in the mid-sevens. Anybody could do that, but that's getting to be, a lot of people they're not buying a pickup truck for just, here I work on a construction site, or here I do this. They go to that style job, but they also might need it to take the family to dinner or whatever you might do. And they need a truck that's a little more versatile. And I think in the age of boring vehicles, because let's be honest, a lot of vehicles in the past 10 years have been kind of boring. I think they're really stepping up, and I think GM has really shown that. And I want to bring this up, and we'll go into this one because this one's going to be the one that will actually come to market before anything else. And it is this bad boy right here, the ZR2. And now I've done some building prices on this truck, and pretty popular, honestly. I'm surprised with the Colorado, though. My best video that I've done on the Colorados is the Trail Boss. And I think I say it in the video, I think the Trail Boss gives you a lot of off-road features for, less price. All mid-sized trucks are getting a little bit expensive nowadays. But this truck for me is a big leap forward for GM. The last one, I thought the last Colorado looked good. I just felt like they just didn't know what they wanted to do with it. It started aging, and they just kind of like, well, it's kind of selling. Let's just continue on with it. And with this generation, they've made some big changes. I do love the design features of this thing, and I've said it many times. I do plan on buying a Ford Ranger Raptor, Alley, number one. But I think this is more of an aggressive looking off-road vehicle, and I'd be curious with where you guys are at with these trucks. But I think this one here really stands out as aggressive. Now, you know, with the some of the leaks that we've seen of Toyota, the next Tundra coming, and the next Tundra is very in line with the last generation. I mean, it's a more modern take of it. Chevy's going to kind of beat them to these kind of headlights. This is definitely what I would interpret as a modern Tacoma headlight. Now, obviously, Tacoma has this little deal that comes out here. I think they stretch it out a little bit further back, but I think that they definitely took, you know, it's good to take inspiration from the top selling vehicles, and I think GM with this truck has done pretty good with that. Now, where Nissan in the full size trucks with their Titan took way too much of two vehicles, they borrowed way too much from F-150 and they borrowed way too much from Ram. I think it was smart too. Let's just pluck a couple hints of things, and definitely these body lines are great on this truck. Great colors. Great colors. We'll go through these a little bit. So the black, definitely stealthy on this thing. I like the fact that it just looks sinister. I like they were smart with a little bit of red trims. Let's show that this thing is basically it's a viper. It's a venom. It's ready to pounce at you. And these little red accent tow hooks. The days of where people tried to hide those, that was a big deal in the late 90s of how do we hide? We need tow hooks, but how do we hide them? And then once once people took the Jeep inspiration of like accent that stuff, and I think these other manufacturers have kind of seen that and jumping on board with accenting it. People that don't know off-road vehicles, they go, holy hell, that's a tough vehicle because, oh look, it's got, you know, we could pull somebody out of a ditch. You know, your mind just goes crazy with the things that you might do with this. But let's kind of go through the colors here. This blue it's been a staple for I think we've seen it on the big ZR2. It's a great looking color. I love a classic white looking truck like this. White always shows, you know, the dirt never just seems to show a ton on a white truck like they do some of the other trucks. And pinstriping. When I go off-roading this, and I had a white Frontier, which I'll do a show. I'm going to do a show on some of the Nissan. Probably next week we'll talk about Nissan and Toyota. But I had a white Frontier with this. I pinstriped the piss out of the thing, and you could easily polish it up and you'd never notice. Where some of the darker colors, definitely you're going to see it. But this is a new one. This nitro yellow metallic. Now what is it? Kia. I think Kia has a color very similar to this thing. And this is one of those colors that you're going to have to see in person. This is a color that I think they won't keep around very long because I don't think sales will be great on it. And I love it. But I think the problem with it is some colors you just have to see in person. Ford has it with their Heritage, the Heritage Limited, the Broncos are going to do. They have I forget what they call it, Yellowstone. And in pictures like this, you see it and you're just like, okay, that's just kind of weird color. But when you see the pearl and in the clouds and the sunshine, and this will definitely be a very pearl color, I like it. I like the fact that they're not just staying, you know, they could go basic colors, but they didn't. Now this red, I love this red. You guys know I'm a sucker for a nice kind of a candy apple-ish red. Looks very good. Another color that they've done, and I like the fact that, you know, Toyota was smart with let's throw a lot of different colors at let's make it interesting. You know, they did it with FJ Cruiser a little bit. They've done it obviously with the Tacoma. Let's not some normal colors, and they did sort of that military sand color, kind of a cargo khaki tan, and been very popular on the Toyotas. Well, I like the fact that GM just didn't blatantly copy that color. You know, Nissan's done it with twice on the Frontier. They've got the same Sarge green or whatever they call it, green on the Frontier that Toyota uses, and they're using the same kind of khaki colors. I like the fact that they've kind of taken their color palette and said, hey, we'll kind of play in that playground, but we're going to do our version of it. So I respect that quite a bit. Now, silver and some of these colors, they just are what they are. But once again, GM's done a great with this ZR2 being off-road. You know, we're getting this cool off-road bumper, the nice glossy black accents, which I wouldn't mind seeing these in a matte as well, but I think looks great. Silver is a classic truck color, man. You're never going to go wrong. And finally, they've done something great with the this green. This is a Harvest Bronze Metallic. And I think they've done another special color that's playing in that kind of military green, but it's not, you know. But I want to kind of walk through this a little bit. But next up, we're going to kind of A and B these vehicles together a little bit, because I think, and we're going to have to go down to the land down under. So Ford obviously does not have the Ranger Raptor just yet here for the United States, but we know it's coming. I did a video sneaking, you know, those photos that got snuck out of the plant. We did a video on that, and so we know it's coming. It's being built here in the United States. But this is the Ranger Raptor, and we've wanted this truck in the United States for so long. I mean, I think the fact that Australia was getting some of this trucks when Ford decided to kill off Ranger here in the United States in 2000, I believe it was 11. That these midsize trucks are a staple in the Australian markets. Most markets they don't have roads built for full size trucks. Now Australia can handle it, but they don't build these trucks in Australia. These are all built in Indonesia. So a lot of the Indonesian markets, they need smaller vehicles. So they're kind of getting what Ford's giving the Australian market. Hey, they've always, and all the manufacturers do it, from the old hard bodies and from Nissan days and everything. So they've given the smaller trucks, which kind of kept it fun. And the Australian market, man, they've got so much playground. You guys, I'm sure have seen the videos. They have just so much land to go play around in. Now, the bummer about Australia is modifying these vehicles, which is a whole nother. You get into each township or whatever I forget what they call their provinces or whatever. They all have way wacky rules. Some you can't have the tires, some you can't use 35-inch tires. I don't know or understand the reasoning why it. I'm sure some of the people that watch this from Australia, because we do have a little bit of an Australian audience, could chime in there, and I may bring in. I've got some Dash Off-Road down there in Australia. I'm good friends with those guys. I may get them on the show to discuss the reasoning behind that. But anyways, so this is the Ranger Raptor, the non-US spec one, because the US spec one, if this stupid thing would go away, we have reflectors everywhere, and but this is a truck that's kind of excited us. When they got this in the previous generation for them, we in America, us truck buyers, were all freaking excited. Like, just like, because there is always a thing, with Toyota, they have the Hilux down there. We have the Tacoma up here. At the time, they're still very separate, different trucks. Now, Toyota's smartly going to merge those into one framing, a global version of that truck. But some of the South American audiences needed something different than we might in the United States. And so they built specific. Now, hopefully the United States version of some of these global trucks that we're starting to see are built to a little bit more rugged standard. And I think that's where this Ranger Raptor is going to really win out for us here in the United States, because this thing, we know what the Raptor means. We know that Raptor means just high-speed dune chasing, having fun. I think for mid-size trucks, though, I'm going to want this truck definitely to go do some fun off-road duty, whether I go to Windrock Park with it or, we just maybe take it on a long adventure. I would love to. Me and Kelly's decided this year for our trip, we want to get to Moab, but I think what we're going to do is go to Telluride. Because for one, I want to take my daughter there. She's never seen anything like those kind of Alps mountains that they have, those big rocky mountains. And I think that's going to blow my daughter away. And I think we can take her in. Moab's not that far away. We may stretch a day over to Moab before we head back. But I think that adventuring in a vehicle like this, especially for doing Black Bear Pass or something like that, would be a lot of fun. Now, where the Bronco might win out on like Black Bear passes because you have all the turning features to help you turn on some of those sharp switchbacks. This probably wouldn't have that, but I don't care. I'm a truck guy. I love mid-sized trucks, and I think this one here is going to. I think this one here is going to take the U.S. market by storm, because we'll get into some of the colors here. I think such high horsepower in this truck. Now the Australian version is like 392, something like that is where they're at with this 3-liter twin turbo V6. I do believe that we will get the 418 same version that the Bronco is going to get. It doesn't make sense. I know it's just basically a tuning. So obviously the Bronco and the Rangers are going to be built on the same sort of platform, but that doesn't mean the computer systems, everything is identical. But I think being built at MAP, the same place that the Bronco is going to be built, I think it's safe to say that there's no reason to tweak anything. Now, some of the colors that I've seen for the United States builds, and I have been privy to some inside stuff to this, I can't really talk too much about yet, but we're going to see some different colors than what the global audience is getting. So as you can see here, Arctic White, I think, is a good looking. Now, I just said it on the ZR2, looks great. And you're seeing that matte finish that they're going to do on the grill there. I think on the Raptor, for me, it's not as fun. I don't know. What they call meteor gray. This might take a minute. There we go. Great looking color on that, and I do think we're going to see a gray on a normal gray. I think meteor gray is probably the same as the gray they're putting on the Broncos right now. Now here's a aluminum metallic, and that I have to say, I've never been a silver guy. Could you imagine that truck with a matte PPF on it, and how just wicked that would be? It'd be very exciting. Lightning blue here, classic Ford color. If it loads, come on, you can do it. I guess we're pulling the internet from Australia, so it's having a little bit of a time. But that's a classic. That's a classic Ford color that we've seen before. Concord gray is more like, I think, what we call leadfoot gray here in the United States, which I hope that's one of those colors that I wish they would put on the Broncos and Rangers, is that leadfoot gray. I think it's just a fun color. Sedona orange, which is what we would call our hot chili pepper red. Not bad on this truck. Not bad. I've seen the this color on the current Rangers, and something about it is just, I don't like it on that. And I've seen it on Bronco, and I kind of like it on Bronco now. So, but here's one of my favorites, Code Orange. This is a Ford Performance color, and as you can see, there's upcharges on all these colors, which I think we'll see as well in the United States. But I'm pretty torn on this and some of the new colors that I've seen coming. So, and then Absolute Black. Now, there, once again, I think this is where ZR2 wins out a little bit, because they've accented the tow hooks and everything just a little bit. Now we know Raptor gets the Raptor badging and stuff, and people are going to know, definitely you're going to have these wide hips of this vehicle. You're going to know what this thing is, but I think just a little bit of an accent would be pretty sweet with this. But as of what you guys see right now, which one are you guys interested in? Because I'm torn. Like I said, I think aggressive wise, I think the GM design, even GMC, I think the GM twins are more aggressive looking. But is that more aggressive to the fact that you're not getting as much? So they know they're not going to do the same horsepower in this truck, because we haven't even got to that yet. But I think they know, well, we can't go there, but let's make our truck look more aggressive. And to be honest, most people, driving these on the road, I don't see any Raptors, full F-150 Raptors running down constantly, driving, jumping everywhere. They're just, people buy them because they want an aggressive vehicle, and they want to, feel like they're kind of aggressive. Now, does that equate to sales? I don't know. I really don't know on that. And but I think their brand loyalty on some of these trucks initially is going to be where it's at. Let's see. Shipping issues. Yeah, Cole's had some shipping issues with his Bronco. Now let's get into the interior of these vehicles. ZR2, yeah, we're on ZR2. Let me pull this up here for you guys, because I do think this is where I am torn between the two trucks. So let's put it up. This is the I want to make sure that it's bringing up the ZR2, because that does not look like the ZR2 package. I could be wrong. Let's see if this will load. Some of these Jeep has the worst build websites ever. Yeah, okay, it says ZR2 there. So definitely GM does a very, very classy interior in their vehicles, and they've really stepped it up over the years. I remember those old you guys probably remember those old the C10s, the big full-size trucks they used to do with that weird box radio that they loved, those Delco box radios they loved doing, and just stuff didn't look like they threw something together, and well, the public will buy that. But they do a nice, you got a big screen in this thing. It's going to be all digital, which again, we know Raptor is going to have the same thing. The steering wheel of this thing, just not as aggressive to me. I think this is one thing where Ford's going to win out with the interiors is people want to feel like in the interior of this truck, they want to feel exactly like they do of the exterior of this truck. And why I like this, I understand the kind of the camo seating they're trying to do, and kind of the weird pinstriping they want to do. Oh, look, Ford cup holders. But I just think that this might be a little too plain for the buying audience. I don't know where. Curious where you guys are at. They're going to do the striping. This is going to be definitely, you can get this striping for the outside of the truck. But is this exciting? I mean, wild track owners of Bronco, you've seen this before. I mean, not that they're not allowed to, have some fun in that too, but I'm just curious where you guys at with this? Does this interior from what we're going to see with the Raptor, is it give you any like fun vibes? Personally, not for me. Not for me. So let's go ahead and bring up the next truck, and let's go to interior. And now we're going to look, you're going to have to hold your phone a little weird because this is going to look strange because we're in the land down under. But this is the Raptor interior. Now, obviously, we know it's going to be shipped differently. We're going to be on the proper side to drive. But this is what to me a high performance vehicle should look like. There's fun. Ford's smart with this. We've seen this on the Bronco Raptor. They've done a lot of cool trim pieces. All the code orange they put around this. This is Ford performance. It's something that Chevrolet, you don't really see them talk about. They don't really have that I know of anyways, that they're calling their performance, branding. But Ford Performance gets these vehicles and they say, hey, this is how we want to build it. And the Raptor and everything looks great. Obviously the race inspired, zero on your steering wheel. Raptor, I do think that the Raptor logo is starting to look a little bit dated. I wish they would, for this next generation, would have stepped it up a little, just ever so slightly different. But this is definitely exciting to me. Now, very both vehicles very, this is a new trend in the dashes. These little handles here. Both have their modes. Chevrolet's mode was up here. Cup holders that were in the back, where Ford puts the cup holders a little bit more forward. We're going to have not goat modes, but there'll be trail modes on these things, and electronic parking brakes. I don't feel like I'm torn on this the shifter. Now we all know it's just cable driven anymore, so it's not like mechanical where you're literally forcing the transmission into a gear. But I don't know. I'm a little torn on this versus the actual. I don't know, just something a little more defined shifter. Curious where you guys are at with that. But once again, like digital dash, this screen, I love the up and down layout, the horizontal layout of this, or vertical layout of this thing. I think that you can get a nice stereo, or I hate to call them stereos anymore, but a multimedia entertainment center there. I think it just looks better. Now, we know up above here, you're going to get all your hero switches, and I know GM is doing something similar to that. But look, these are just, to me, these are exciting. The kind of code orange stitching in there looks great versus what Chevy's done. And I'm not brand loyal by any means. Yes, we do own a current Bronco, which we just like. I've always been a Jeep guy, but I just wanted something that drove a lot better. But this to me, this is GM really needs to step it up. Now, the only thing that I can say that might save them on this is the fact that GM has a nice partnership with AEV, and we know there's a Bison version coming. And now I can't really bring up anything of the Bison version other than I think there was some spy photos going around. But will they take this truck on head on like that? Will Bison be the truck that they're trying to we're offering the ZR2, but we're going to do an upper ZR2 with heavy metal bumpers and 35-inch tires, which is something I think that the Ranger, I think that's we need to see the Ranger come with 35-inch tires. Now I think they'll come standard with 33s. But I think that since it's pretty feasible for them to do this, since they do a Sasquatch package with the Bronco in the same manufacturing facility, and they do 37s now with the Raptors for the Bronco, I would be very happy with 35s in this vehicle. And you might say, Dave, you're kind of getting in the playing ground of the F-150 Raptor. You are, but remember, I've talked about this many times with automotive. They're playing in $1,000 price points. They just want to get you into one of their vehicles. So these vehicles are definitely going to be heavily profitable for the companies at the rates you've seen. I remember the days you could get an S10, $8,000. Those days are way gone. Now you're $30,000 easily, if not more, trying to get into one. But these are heavily profitable vehicles for these companies. And I think, if you did a 35-inch package, much like they're doing with the F-150 Raptor, where they're offering a 37-inch tire package, I think it would make sense. You're kind of cloning a smaller version of what you're doing with the F-150, putting it into this truck, and I would be happy. Now we know I'm doing this on the fly, so bear with me because don't spill. I'm a monster on my keyboard. But bear with me here because I want to bring up these Bison photos. Chevy. Oh, this morning. Chevy. You can see through my mic. Or two. See if I can find these real quick. All right, somebody commented on one of my videos. These come from GM Authority that I'm about to put up here. Somebody commented on this video today that these were Photoshop. These are not real, and the way they commented was hilarious to me. But so this is, I think, going to be Chevy's answer to the Ranger Raptor, and it's partnering with AEV for the Bison. Now, this thing definitely looks aggressive. I said this in my video. You can see, look at the hips of this thing. The fenders, they're bulging out much like the Raptor is. But this is ready for prime time, and I think what we're going to see with this one is the drive impressions for Colorado are 2 weeks. I think they're starting to fly people out to California for those drive impressions. I think they might do what they did with what Ford did with the Ranger or with Bronco Raptor, and they teased that Raptor R just doing donuts out in the desert. I almost think Chevy might do that with this truck. But this thing, once again, I've told you, I like their styling. I like those headlights of this thing. Those are definitely 35-inch tires. The person that commented in my video, which was hilarious, was like, well, you can tell they're two different size tires. And I don't believe they are. I mean, for one, you can't have four-wheel drive, two different size tires. You'd script the drivetrain. I just think it's the how the photo was taken, maybe. But definitely these look like Goodyear Duratrack style tires, whatever. I think they quit calling them Duratracks, but they're definitely, you can see the lug patterns of these tires, very aggressive. Then they do not look like the current Wranglers that they've been putting on everything else. But I think this truck here is the answer to Raptor. And yes, like Mr. just said, GM needs to ditch the leaf springs. And this one's definitely, you can see there's the perches and the bolts for the leaf springs. They do need to ditch that. That's such old technology, and they've, with the links they use now, they can tow with these things. They can make it work properly. But this vehicle is definitely made to be adventuring. But you're getting a big beefy rock slider on this. I'm not a fan of GM. I know honestly, these are probably the best rock slider from the factory that come out, but they just look awful to me. But they definitely do protect the rocker panels. This truck will challenge Raptor. The only thing that I think that this truck needs is a better motor option. I don't think that which we're going to get into in just a second. I don't think that the 2.7 4-cylinder is going to cut it. I think that's their weak point of this truck. And I think that's something that, once again, GM's been in such flux with, do they want to be an EV company? Do they want to be, still a gasoline powered, motor company? I think this is where their midsize trucks is caught in that crosshairs. Now, if they did this maybe in a hybrid version, much like what Toyota's doing with theirs, with the Tundras, I think that might be a freaking hit. I think if you put that small displacement 4-cylinder in, matched to a in between the bell housing and the motor, a hybrid drivetrain there, I think that would be kick-ass. And I do think that that's where you could get this truck, the horsepower up. We know you can turbo the piss out of these things, and you'll get torque for a minute. And most people don't look past, they don't really look at the RPMs where a lot of these vehicles make their torque. But I think having the consistency with the hybrid system in these would make it pretty appealing for buyers. I think this truck, though, I think this is them saying 35-inch tires, hey, GM, or hey, Ford, we see what yes, you're bringing the Ranger Raptor, but you're not going to do this. And I really don't expect the Ranger to get 35-inch tires. I'm just wishful thinking on that. But I do think I think GM has put them on notice a little bit. Now, all this thing has been badged up. Obviously, we're starting to see it being peeled away, which is fine. That means this truck's getting closer to coming out. I think what they want to do is they want to get Colorado, which is being made now. I think they're building them in Missouri. They're building those trucks now, so they'll be hitting. What's funny is they'll be hitting by the time some of the reviews are out. I think people will be picking up their trucks. Why GM's waited so late, I don't know for their driving impressions, but they have. But definitely a big, like you can see there is the I forget what they call their suspension system. It's this active suspension system they're using on the big ZR2. Definitely shows they're going to use that in this truck. Interior, once again, they better step the interior up of this thing. Cole says Bison needs an LS. I don't see that ever happening, but it definitely could use a big V6. But where are you guys at with that? I think this is the once again, this is sort of the game changer for these mid-size truck battle that we're going to see. Kind of the super truck it's so weird saying super truck mid-size, but that's what I think these trucks are anymore. But let's go to the next part of this, and let's look at some of the options now. Tailgates. Why tailgates are some goofy? Hey, we can't really make the trucks any better than what they are. But tailgates is one of those things that GM has hung their hat on for a while, and people love them. But with the little trucks, you can get, oh look, you can adventure with these and hide your stuff. As you can see, this is kind of a neat way of doing it. Ram has done it for the boxes on the side of them, up in the tailgate up there. They've done stuff like that. This is a pretty unique way of doing it. I hope it would be lockable. I'm assuming well, these look like they just slide down. I don't know. Hopefully it would be lockable, because I'd hate to think I have a bunch of recovery gear in there that somebody notices you have that tailgate and takes it. But definitely copy and forward here with you can see the measurements, the tape measure on there. But that is kind of interesting, and that's something that they're trying to differentiate themselves, if I could say it, from Ford. Is, hey, we're the brand that has a lot of options, which is cool. But I didn't know tailgates were one of those things that we were all itching for. Now, this truck's definitely going to be this is where these trucks are built for, the dunes, having fun like this. Definitely a SoCal, Nevada kind of truck. Now, us on the East Coast here, we don't get to use these trucks to their most capable assets. We can't really, there's no high-speed driving I can do with these things around here. But, in these bars, man, it reminds me of the Fall Guy. Most of you probably don't remember the Fall Guy, but drop a comment if you do. But like bars, it's going to have all kinds of options. But I love GM, how they've made this, how they're changing up the standard side of the bed here. I did this on the initial videos we did of this, of the commenting of it. I love that. I think it's really cool. But here in the United States, this is where these vehicles are going to kind of be at. Now let's look at, I want to bring up, we're just going to look at basic pricing. I don't want to go too crazy on this thing, because, well, we could be here all day. So here is where the lineup's kind of at. So this is their off-road trucks. Z71 forever was their off-road trim. Now it seems to be their more luxurious kind of off-road trim. Trail Boss, I think, is where it's at. And if you look at the pricing, Trail Boss $37,000, the ZR2 starting at $46,000. At either of these trucks, you're never going to find them for that price ever. Now, what's nice is, as shown, $47,195. Now that's not bad. That's getting into I hate to say affordable, but if you consider what you might be able to get in an off-road truck, I think you get a nice TRD Pro in the same range. But ZR2 is going to have front and rear lockers. It's going to be a very capable truck, where Toyota's never added front lockers to their vehicle, and I think they need to. I think between this and the Ranger Raptor, going to have, all-time four-wheel drive. It's going to be, lockable front and rear. I think the U.S. brands are putting Toyota on notice too. It's like, hey, better step it up. But $47,195 starting out for that is not bad. As you can see, it's the turbo, the high output, same motor, but 310 horsepower. And I've said this many times, this does not cut it in trucks anymore. If the Ranger Raptor comes out at 418, they look dumb here. And especially if the Bison is not near 400, they really look like they don't know what they're doing in this category. And I think GM's done a real good job of bringing their brand up to speed for off-road. Overlanding, whether I like that name or not, has really brought a lot of attention to off-roading. And it's good. I love the manufacturers. Used to be, this was the off-road package you were going to get, and that's all you were going to get. They weren't going to do lockers. They weren't going to do anything fun, exciting in the off-road truck. This was it. And I like the fact that you get 3 choices now. You know, this is more of a plain stripper down, but it's very capable. This is like most people probably need, just a nice driving vehicle, nice 4-wheel drive package. And this is your adventure people. But $47,195. If we're playing at home, be sure to mark that down in your calendar or in your playbook. It's because we're going to have to do some math over here for the next vehicle, because this is going to be in this is going to be in Australian. We're going to have to convert, do some conversion here. But so once again, I did not build anything. This is a plain Jane. I didn't know options, but 93,365. So let me do some little copying and pasting there. And looky here. It's like I was prepared. $64,000 US for that. $64,000. Now, let's paste this up here. If the US, now I've done some builds on these things, and the prices definitely, they fluctuate obviously with I think when I did my build and prices, the Australian dollar was a little weaker at the time, but I want to say is around 58,000 is where I did the math at on that thing. And that's a spicy meatball. Now you're getting a lot more horsepower. Obviously you're getting a more pure desert running vehicle. But is that the appeal of that vehicle? You know, for $64,000, you can go get a nice, I want to say you can get probably a nice a Raptor. Let me look real quick, because I'm curious now. If you guys know, let me know in the comments. But I'm curious if you can get a Raptor for that price. Now, I'm rushing through this really quick, so there we go. Close. 76. Here we go. I'll bring this up. $76,775 starting out for the Raptors. It is an upgraded off-road icon. But that's you know, I guess it is about a $10,000 increase there. Is it would you jump to, would that force you into the going, if I'm spending that money, I want the full size truck? Once again, I like the smaller trucks, but curious what you guys think. In the comments, let me know where you at. Are you team Chevrolet? Are you team Ford? Where do you stand with this? I'm curious. I have a poll going on right now. Let's go ahead and end this poll, because I always forget, and then Kelly gets in my ass about it. Let's see. Maybe if the poll will end. Did it end? Come on, poll. Maybe you guys see it in the comments. I'm not seeing it pop up here. Oh, there it is. Okay. So right now the Rod Ranger, because I did not spell check before I hit enter, is 63% would have the Ford Ranger Raptor versus the Chevrolet at 28%, and 7% for the AT4X, which I think that's a very nice truck. That's a very, very nice truck. But that you're starting to get with the GMC. We'll pull that up real quick, because I am curious. I'm curious about where they land. So let's go ahead and see if we can get this up. GMC is hidden their damn. It's a nightmare to find their goofy building prices on these. I gotta try to remember how I used to do that, because it's sort of, they don't want you to see it just yet. But where are we at? Vehicles, future. I think there's a future vehicles. Damn it. There it is. All right. Well, they've taken it off there. GMC, man. These guys are their website. They all still have 22s on their websites. Look at this. This is the same with Chevrolet. And I know what it is. They've got them on dealers' lots, but hey, we're well into 23 for car sales. I think it's time to quit advertising the older GMCs. I'm scanning here real quick, guys, because it used to be in the future vehicles where you could find this thing, and now they've hidden it. These bastards. I'm giving it one more second. Give me a second. Hopefully, y'all's Saturday is going well though. AT future vehicles. AT4s. Well, they don't want us to see it right now, so it looks like they've taken it off their website. But I do think that the GMC version will be their AT4X, which they're going to do. I know they did like a limited one vehicle is just ridiculously priced. Let's see if we can find a picture of one anyways. GMC. All right. Let's see here. I'll have to share this from Car and Driver, but there is the AT4X version, which it's a clone of the ZR2. Don't get me wrong. I think some of the interior features, last I looked, was a little bit nicer. But Car and Driver, there's a reason your magazine's going away. It's because your websites are horrible. But I've been torn. I kind of like this the way they do their running lights and stuff on this truck, but I'd have to get into my video to figure out what the pricing of was that vehicle. But it's expensive, so let me do it quickly. I know I can find that. I know I can find it. I know you guys listening. If you're just listening to me, you're probably like, this dude won't shut up, man. He's just rambling about trucks and not prepared. And if Kelly would ever join me on the show, I could be a little more prepared. Where are we at? AT4X Canyon. All right. So you can find the price of this thing. There we go. All right. Looks like I priced one out about $58,000 for the AT4X on this. I did add. It looks like I did add a few options to it, but that's $10,000 more. Is that roughly $10,000 more than the ZR2? That's nuts, because at $57,000 you are definitely getting into closer to the Ranger Raptor pricing. And don't get me wrong, I think Ranger Raptor is going to be late 50s, early 60s. I don't see it getting into the 67s for the United States. I think why they can push the price in the Australian market is because they have no competition. And I don't mean like in midsize trucks. They don't have any big Ranger F-150 or F-150 Raptors. So they're able to jack those prices up for the people who want those. But the truck is like, there's a wait list like crazy for the Australian market of that truck. A lot of fun videos. Trust me, I've been watching a lot of them. I want to be ready when mine comes in. I want to be ready for the fun to start. But anyways, so you guys, it looked like you guys are Team Ford. Now I have a heavy Ford audience once again, so I get it. I can understand why, but I'm torn personally. I've said this on a couple of my shows. I'm torn on design. I kind of like the Chevrolet looks a little bit better, but I've often said when it comes down to it, I want as much horsepower as I can afford. And I think that's where Ranger Raptor would win out for me. But either way, these two trucks they're going to battle. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think the midsize truck market, till they're forcing us to go all EV, is going to be a lot of fun. I would look for in both of these trucks to do some sort of hybrid version at some point. Whether it be, like I said, whether it be more like what Toyota's doing with their hybrid technology of integrating it into the drivetrain to give you that extra kind of horsepower or torque, or is it plug-in hybrid? I mean, I'm not a fan of plug-in hybrid at all. I don't see the need in it. I think the better option is to go, much like the Toyota system is, like the old, oh gosh, I can't think of their little car right now, but I don't like a plug-in hybrid. I think it's a waste. I think now Jeep is selling a ton of them. And do we see with the Gladiator, with the Gladiator refresh coming up, do we see them move into that? Or do we see Jeep keep kind of go more into the, do they bring the Hurricane engine in to the Gladiator, detune it? Because that engine, when I test drove that truck with the Grand Wagoneer, that thing would scoot. So I think it was 500 horsepower plus with the Grand Wagoneer. For a straight six is freaking wicked. And so do you detune, do you make a high-end Gladiator? Now, I think Jeep's problem is for high desert running speed, I think the straight axle is their problem. And I've said it, I did a video on it. It wasn't a very popular video, but I enjoyed doing it. I think at some point the next Jeep is going to be IFS. And I think they still do a Rubicon version where, you know, if you want the Rock Crawler Ultimate kit, they'll still build that for you. But I think there's a way they can integrate the straight axle into the IFS technology as far as like on the line, being able to easily integrate those two. So you can run some IFS and some not. But if they did that with the Gladiator, I think you put that Hurricane engine in it, and then that midsize truck is a lot of fun. A lot of fun. What is up, Nikki Brewer? Thank you. I've gotten a lot of compliments. I've worn this shirt before. Nobody's ever noticed. Guys, if you will go over and for one, smash the like button for me, I would greatly appreciate that. It just helps people find the show, and this is a new show for us. And we like doing the live shows with you guys because we like interacting. We've made a lot of friends doing it this way. We're still always going to do produce content. We have Chicago Auto Show coming up this coming week, which I'm very excited about. Haven't been to Chicago Auto Show in 2 years because of the whole pandemic thing. We were there February of 2020. Right before the shit hit the fan. And after that, Chicago's had some weird COVID rules that I didn't want to go up there. I didn't want to wear a mask to interview people. I thought that would be goofy. But smash that like for me. If you're new to the channel, Auto Journalist here on YouTube, been doing this a long time. I covered Nissan exclusively for a long time, honestly, about 7 years. And Nissan, honestly, they kind of pushed me away from that. So I decided, okay, I'll cover your brand more fairly, maybe. So that's why we're doing All Terrain Nation here. Let's see. What's up, Cigar Texan? Hopefully you guys rewatch the show. I think it's a fun look at what the high performance midsize trucks are going to be. I think that Toyota does answer it in Toyota's own way. I think Toyota you might see a 350 horsepower something hybrid version of their new Tacoma, which would be okay. If you're in the 350 categories, and I still know that it's the reliability that I'm looking for with the import brands, I would probably be okay with that. But if they don't answer, and if GM doesn't with the Bison coming, they don't answer more than 310 horsepower with maybe a V6 in that thing, dead on arrival, man. I think your hardcore GM people will be all about it, but I think your people that are not brand loyal, we're going to switch to the more high performance vehicles. So there you go. Be sure to smash the subscribe button if you haven't yet. If you have not yet, also ring the bell. So when I do videos, I drop videos randomly from time to time. You'll know exactly when I do it. We have channel memberships on here. The memberships help us travel. Honest to God. We don't make a ton on those, but they do help out. Pennies help out. Trust me. YouTube's activated shorts as a revenue stream now for us. And I made 14 cents on shorts the other day. But guess what? Adds up to the other money I've made and just helps us continue to do this thing. So guys, there is our mid truck talk show, whatever we're going to call this thing. I hope you've had fun. Try to keep these to about an hour. Everybody has busy Saturdays, and go ahead and email us, allterrainnationmedia@gmail.com. If you have any topics you'd like us to discuss, you can get us there. Instagram is a great way to get a hold of us. Kelly and I both scan Instagram. We get all the notifications there. Twitter, as you can see, I've been making a big push to be on Twitter because all my cohorts are on Twitter, and I don't know. I'm not much on Twitter just yet, but it's fun to see people fight with each other over there. That's kind of fun. So whether it be 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, it doesn't really matter what you drive. Well, I'm going to have to do this. I got to do this real quick. I don't know if it's going to screw it up because this has been your Midsize Truck Show, and we're out. Peace, everybody. Love y'all.